All right, so I guess the big story today, was an off-the-field story. It was something that we knew was going to happen, and unfortunately, because the NFL deals with things like the cloak of secrecy that they had in Harry Potter, where you don't know what they're doing, what they're saying. They all of a sudden say, "Hey, guess what, Richard Sherman? Your hearing is on Friday."
Right.
And obviously, it leads to a lot of interesting possibilities for the Seahawks in terms of when they're going to lose him, and frankly, how much they're going to have to do without their two starting DBs.
Well, you're going to lose him for the majority of the playoffs. If the word is, and because everything's secret, you have no idea. There is the potential. The hearing is on Friday. Potentially, they could say, "All right, you're out for the game this Sunday, starting this Sunday." But everybody has talked about the fact that the NFL likes to allow the team a week to adjust roster-wise.
Right. Historically, they don't do that.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely that he'd have his appeal hearing Friday, and they'd say, "Well, appeal denied, you're out starting this weekend." So that's highly unlikely. They allow the team time to adjust their roster. So you figure he's going to be out for the Rams game and then 3 preceding playoff games after that. So if the Seahawks are lucky enough to get through the playoffs and to the Super Bowl,
right,
then you'd have Browner and Sherman together.
I would say that all things considered, considering where we came from at the start of this story, where it looked like they might lose their 2 starting corners for 4 straight games. If it winds up being the scenario you suggested there, and it does happen, and I think everyone expects that it is going to happen, but they wait until next week, you get Browner back as soon as the playoffs start. So
right.
you only go 1 game without both of them, and it's potentially a game that doesn't matter.
Well, it puts much more pressure on this team to win this game against the 49ers.
Absolutely, it does. And that's luck, and that's there, and they know about that anyway. It's still to keep their division hopes are still alive going into that game, obviously. So
yeah.
That's not going to change anything in that case. But it's potentially is all I'm saying. It's potentially a meaningless game. If it's a meaningless game, and of playoff games to come, and who knows how many there will be in the games beforehand, I got to give them props for doing a pretty good job of shuffling the pieces, so it worked out the best it possibly could for them.
Yeah, and it goes back to the initial argument of whether you'd want them to be gone this year or start the season next year. And I think the obvious answer is this year, get it out of the way. You want to get to the playoffs, and you want them to win this game. I don't want it to come down to the last game.
Sure.
The Rams already beat you. The Rams beat the 49ers and tied the 49ers, so they're capable. You don't want it to come down to the final game of the season and everything's on the line. I'd rather have that be a cake game, a gravy game. All right, you don't have either of your cornerbacks.
It's the perfect game for it in that circumstance.
Right. So it's good that they did it this way and that it was delayed, that you do have Sherman for the 49er game. I think that's absolutely crucial because this is the game of the year.
Yeah, got to win this one.